lunch today. I ordered an extra large portion. An extra large size of plain cold soba. So when I place an order, I have to make sure it's a large size of plain cold soba, not a large side udon with fried tofu on top. But is this really a large size? It looks like a regular size. I think the owner of the restaurant has hurt her hip, so she must be having a hard time running a restaurant. I'm still thinking about her when Takano comes in. She has a real large-sized meal in her hand. God damn it, go away. I must have taken a regular size instead of my large size. Oh boy, how confusing. This is really confusing, isn't it? They should use some kind of mark, you know? I agree. For example, they can put a flag like the one on a kid's meal that says large size. I think she likes the idea of kids' meals. She laughs for a while. Would you like to join me? I invite her to sit on the sofa. Are you sure? Thank you, but could you turn the air conditioning down just a little? Sure, sorry about that. Here we go. Come to think of it, I haven't really had much communication with her. She's gonna fucking kill me. That's all that would be going through my mind. She's gonna fucking kill me. She's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me. We never really step into each other's boundaries, and we are rather distant. Since our attitudes toward the research are different, we never mingled before. I wouldn't want to mingle with Takano. She's creepy. So chatting over lunch is a good way to become closer to her. I wonder what she likes to talk about over lunch. Oh, do you want to talk about dissection? No, not really. I should be the one to start a peaceful conversation. I don't want her to start talking about things like measles. We're having lunch after all. While I try to come up with something to talk about, she starts a conversation. A flag on a kid's meal. That brings back memories. Do you think they still have flags, though? I don't know. It's one of those things that endure. So it's possible they will keep having flags on kids' meals even if in the far future. Maybe even in-flight kids' meals on spaceship will have a flag on it. That sounds interesting. I wonder if kids will collect those flags even in the future. Flags? Did you collect them? Oh, didn't you do that when you were a kid? Flags from kids' meals? No way. When I was a kid, only kids from rich families could have kids' meals. My family couldn't afford it. That's not true. My family was poor, but when we went to the mall, we had our lunch at a restaurant there. At the time, for me to go to a mall meant having a kids' meal. So whenever my parents went to the mall without me, I'd get very upset. Your childhood sounds so happy. But when they went to the mall without me one day, they were in an accident and they died. Until I got the call about the accident, I was really upset with my parents for going to the mall without me, and I was sure they were having a meal there. I only needed one more to make my collection complete. Collecting 20 flags was my goal. I was so upset that I couldn't complete my collection. That's awful, huh? I'm not hungry anymore. Sets down the food, walks out the door. That's very interesting. I'm gonna go take a walk now. Thank you for ruining my day. Must have been horrible to lose her parents at the age when she was still interested in collecting flags from kids' meals. Obviously, it's still a painful memory for her. I see. I didn't know. By the way, is that why you became a doctor? Huh? Why? Well, the reason why I wanted to become a doctor was because of my family. So I thought maybe it was the same for you too. I became a doctor so I could study the Hinamizawa syndrome. I got the license so I could research. How interesting. When she was going to a medical school, she already knew about the Hinamizawa syndrome. By the way, I didn't know anything about the syndrome. Where did you find out about the Hinamizawa syndrome? I heard you encountered the syndrome while you were looking into the late Dr. Takano's documents. I'm impressed that you've already started the research while studying at the medical school. Studying took up all my time while I was a student. That's impressive. Actually, I became familiar with the Hinamizawa syndrome long before that. What does she mean? How old was she when she first found out about the Hinamizawa syndrome? In fact, why did she become familiar with it? Just like Satoko and Rika, I didn't have any relatives. So I was sent to an orphanage. It was a horrible orphanage. Do you remember war orphans? It was a facility to take in those children who just for the money from the government. When I escaped there, my grandfather, Dr. Takano, rescued me. So you actually lived with Dr. Takano? I see, now I understand. But why do you keep it a secret? Well, there are many reasons. It's one thing to request funds for research on a mysterious disease, but it's another to do it for a research project of my late grandpa's. I see. Finally, the question is answered. The way you talked about Dr. Takano isn't just a researcher admiring another researcher. But still, you respect him that much. He must have been a wonderful doctor with natural virtues. I don't know about his natural virtues. He died alone of an illness, without anybody understanding him. He preferred being alone, a bad habit. But that's why he couldn't find anyone to support him. But he had you as an assistant. By the way, your names sound the same, huh? Yeah, it's not my real last name. I took my grandfather's last name to show respect. I actually wanted to use the same character, but I thought it could get complicated when explaining it to my client, so I decided to use a different character. Her name is Takano, and her grandfather's name is also Takano, though written differently. Her name is Mio, and her grandfather's name is Hifumi. She doesn't need to say any more. She lost her parents when she was young, and Dr. Takano took her in and loved her as if she was his own child. To show her love and respect, she decided to call him her grandfather. Now I know. That's the reason why she devotes herself to the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome, and that's why she does anything, and why it's her life research to research it. Her life's goal. I now understand how she must be feeling about the research that's being terminated soon. Rika said that she was hurt. That's more than just hurt. Although I didn't know anything about it, I may have said something to hurt her before. I only cared about the treatment and extermination. I didn't care about the rest until today. That must be blasphemy towards her grandfather. Now I know why she became aggressive every time I expressed how I felt. After she was told about the termination of the research, she stayed up all night and gathered lots of documents. She went to Tokyo, requested a continuation of the research without depending on anyone. Then she was rejected. The documents she used are in a box in the underground storage. She must have put in a lot of effort to prepare the documents. Even someone without any knowledge of the research can easily understand what she was trying to say. However, it looks like some of those documents weren't even opened, and also have marks that tell them they weren't treated properly as documents. I'm sure Takano must have shed tears of mortification. I heard from Tokyo that Takano left a terrible impression with the board of directors. It's not easy to overturn a bad impression. In other words, she can never try to appeal the continuation of the research again. Yeah, that's usually what happens when you are busted eavesdropping and grab the dude's leg as he's stepping on it. It's like, bitch, what's wrong with you? Yeah, about that. Yeah, don't come back. It was there when she found out about it. I was there when she found out about it. I was there when she found out she could no longer continue her grandfather's research, even though she must have promised him that she would complete it. Are you going to continue researching on your own after the Irie institution closes? When the Irie institution closes, the Hinamizawa syndrome will be eradicated. Do you think I would save a pathogen on a laboratory dish and infect someone with it, then conduct the research? Do you think it's possible to continue researching as an individual, without any equipment, funds, or a facility? Just like my grandfather, who was never noticed by anyone, do you expect me to continue the research in a study filled with the smell of formalin, so I'll be ridiculed by others? I'm not young anymore, and I don't have the willpower. How do you expect a loser like me to continue? Okay, you're not that old. You're like in your fucking 30s, maybe. Tametake has told me that the Irie institution was supposed to be the Takano institution. But the clients didn't like the idea of a young woman being a leader, so they requested a male. That's why I was invited. That explains why she'd been unfriendly since we first met. It must have been blasphemy to her to see me talk about the Hinamizawa syndrome and decide on a research plan according to my values and my morals. The Hinamizawa syndrome is her grandfather. She must feel his presence when she is researching the syndrome. That's the reason why she often stayed at this institution until late at night, though it made the mountain hounds, who were the security guards at the institution, annoyed. Would you like some soba juice? Ah, yes, please. Her shoulder looks fragile to me for the first time. And now I'm sure of Rika's story. Takano holds indescribable sadness within her. And if someone approached her pretending to understand her, she might just fall for it. Because of my position, anything I say to her will only hurt her more, probably. Sometimes words can hurt people no matter how they're used. Just apologize. I'm sorry I didn't understand. I regret what I've said about it in the past, and leave it at that. Had I known, I would have been more sensitive around you. But I can't stop myself from saying something. I guess I'm not mature enough. You know, let's put our money into your research. We have 3 more years. We can do our best too. Damn, what have I said? I shouldn't have opened my mouth. Thank you for your consideration. It's not easy to watch something wither over 3 years. I think Dr. Takano committed suicide when he realized he couldn't continue his research because his mind was starting to fail him. My verbal slip makes her remember a painful memory and hurts her once again. He went into a coma and I had to make a decision whether to turn off the light support or not. God, that's the fucking worst. Oh, I never want to be in that situation, ever. God, that is the worst. Oh. Hey, Director Irie. Who would you ask to turn off the machine? You wouldn't do it yourself, would you? Takano asked if it's a normal question. That's such a hard fucking question. Oh my god. Ideally, you don't want someone that wants to pull it prematurely or someone that locks up in the situation and doesn't make a decision. I say I don't want to be in that position because I know I would make a decision. That's why I don't want to be in there. I'd rather be the indecisive person that wouldn't make a decision. Because that's easier. Because I know I would make the decision. Like, within at least 24 hours. And that's just because I look at things really rationally a lot of times. Which is why I don't want to be in that position. Because I don't want to have to say someone is going to die. I don't want to have that responsibility. Because that would be what I'd have to do. Takano asks as if it's a normal question. She is only expecting one answer. If I had to make a decision, I would probably let one of the family members do it. That's right, huh? There's no way anyone would miss that final moment, right? I will be here for the final moment of the Hinamizawa syndrome. No matter what. Oh, that's a red flag, like, So she's the one that's going to determine when Rika dies. That's what she's just said. Hello? Red alert, Irie. That's what I would immediately think. I'd be like, oh god. Someone knocks on the door and I hear a voice of one of the staff members. Director, the afternoon hours are starting. Please get ready. Oh, okay. I'll be right there. I'll clean up. Why don't you go? Lots of elderly people are waiting to chit-chat with you. Takano laughs, but I know she's laughing to hide her deep sadness. I'm not close to her personally, but she is my partner here at the clinic. I've been trying to avoid getting close to her, but maybe that was a mistake. If I had listened to her more, maybe I could have eased her pain a little. But it's too late. Tomitake is conducting an investigation to prove she is innocent. She is guilty. Is she guilty or not guilty? Either way, her deep sadness remains. After Irie leaves, Takano sits down on the sofa again and stares at nothing for a while. Then she gets up and picks up the phone on the desk. This is Takano. Is Okanogi there? It's me. I was going to ask you to start on the 20th, but please start the observation of R today. Eh? What difference does it make? Or are you going to tell me it's too hot to start today? Yeah, please. We only have 5 days. You better be careful more than careful. You better be careful more than careful, okay? Yeah, alright. God, he's so fucking weird looking. God damn it. Okay, goodbye. Okanogi puts down the phone and sighs. Although it's his job to do whatever Takano wants him to do, he can't help complaining about getting an order on this extremely hot day. Of course, if he complains, Takano will come back with twice as much reproach. This is the office of the Okanogi Gardeners in Okonomiya, a dummy company. They actually do some gardening in Hinamizawa, so nobody would get suspicious to see their uniforms in Hinamizawa. Oh my. Colin Uguisu, and Hibarai cancel their vacations. Our princess has given us an order to start the observation of R today. We'll move up the schedule by 3 days. The first day is Shirasagi, right? Go in a group of 4, including 1 telephone observer, 1 supporter, 1 residence observation, and 1 supporter. Shirasagi, take your command post. Also, we'll step up the fabrication of the telephone equipment too. It was Ugasugi's job, but it'll take a whole day for him to get here. So we'll see Uuturi. Uuturi 7, gather up your construction team and finish by tonight. Can you do it? Of course. My guys are well trained. The Mountain Hounds are different from a battle unit. They're a unit made of different specialists. For one thing, Okanogi just ordered the fabrication of a telephone facility. Wiretapping, gathering information, maneuvering information, and even spying on public institutions such as a police department are examples of their jobs. They belong to the self-defense force. Some are from a fire department, some are from a police department, some are civil engineers. Of course, there are some battle experts as well. Okanogi is one of those battle experts, and he doesn't expect too much from those engineers. Those people have gone through training, but compared to what battle experts can do, it's child's play. He's the leader of the unit made mostly of the members who can't even do 100 push-ups. That's the only complaint he has. He'd rather lead the watchdogs, but somehow he became the leader of this strange unit, maybe because of his cautious yet courageous personality. Since he is a battle expert, he wishes for a fight. When he was involved in the kidnapping case 5 years ago, their plan was to be found by the police and to run away, leaving the hostage. But the pathetic battle he had with the plainclothes policeman is still an annoying memory. He remembers a fat old man acting arrogantly. He could have taken him within a matter of seconds. He could have just broken his neck. He could have turned him around, and snap. It would have been so easy for him. He remembers a young policeman too. He shot him in the shoulder, but he could have shot at his ear. He was told to be easy on them, so that it was the best he could do. He thought of firing the second shot, but there wasn't time. So the last shot he fired was that reluctant shot. Oh, so he was there. Ooh, interesting. Are we gonna see some revenge? Is Akasaka gonna kick his ass? Get some revenge for that shit? Or is he gonna die? He can't believe that ridiculous battle is his last fighting job. Okanogi has been training, so he's ready for battle anytime. Now that his operation is starting, he hopes there'll be a battle for him to fight. He doesn't have to fire a shot. He doesn't have to punch anyone. All he wants is a battle that satisfies his battle expert's pride, that's all. Yes, one moment, please. Commander, there's a phone call for you. I don't know if it's for the commander or the president, though. He's also the president of Okanogi Gardeners, so members usually call him president. Hang on, I'll get my accent back. Well, and the, what? Really? How about that? And who is it that, anyway? It's a woman. She says her name is Nomura. She's asking for President Okanogi. As for the commander, I'll get it at the president's room. Please transfer. Rattle, rattle, crash. I hear a noise. It sounds like many buckets are coming crashing down. It's probably noise from one of Satoko's traps. According to a trap map, if someone goes near the wiretapping shack, there's a trap that makes a loud noise. That must be it. I scouted around the shack last night before the girls left. The shack is very secluded and it's located in a blind spot where nobody's likely to come. So this noise means something important. It means the observation has started in the shack. I can't let them notice Rika and Satoko aren't home. I'm sure they'll call and come by to make sure they are here. I have to make sure they think the girls are sick in bed, that they don't hear the phone or the doorbell. The curtains are closed and they can't see what's inside of the house. But to be sure, their beds are puffed up so it looks like as if they are in their beds. But I have to be even more careful from now on. I can't let them notice that I'm staying here. Also, I have to make sure I can act when something happens. The phone rings and suddenly, just as I expected. It must be them calling to see if they're home. They already know they didn't go to school, so they probably assume they're home sick in bed. I'm sure they want proof they're home. The phone rings for a long time, which convinces me this is a call from them. If there's no answer, they'll come by. They'll pretend to be a mailman or a neighbor and knock on the door. But I don't need to answer the door. The girls are too sick to answer the phone. They won't notice a knock on the door either. Those things increase the chance of them finding out the truth, but that also tells me the enemy is getting closer. Actually, it tells me things are getting tense, which is good for me. Besides, Irie from the Irie institution is our ally, and he already knows Rika is somewhere else. He's supposed to tell them that he came by because he heard Rika and Satsuko miss school. And the two were in bed, and they should be left alone for a while. He's supposed to say that. They won't doubt Irie. They will believe him. This is an advanced level of lying to each other. They believe they are deceiving Irie, but the truth is Irie is deceiving them. However, they are professionals, and we are a bunch of amateurs. Well, not me. Actually, maybe I'm not an exception. I don't know what they've got until I come face to face with them. Our conditions aren't even. We are leading by a tiny bit because we made our move first. You have the initiative. Once that's gone, we don't stand a chance. I promised Rika that I trust her unconditionally. So even without proof, I'm ready to fight. I mean, that's kind of ballsy, but sure, whatever. Whatever floats your boat, buddy. But I can't treat this conspiracy by myself. To gain help from others, Tomitake has to find proof. Tomitake is the leader of our first attack. That means he is in the most danger too. It's understandable that Rika kept warning him to be very careful. He should have started his investigation as early as last night. If that's the reason for the start of the observation, I can only pray for his safety and the success of the investigation. I hear a voice. That's Irie. Satsuko, Rika, I'm here to examine you. I hear footsteps coming up the stairs and a knock. I'm alone, don't worry. We must talk quietly. This house is already under observation. I let Irie in and closed the door quickly. How are you? It's getting hot in here since you can't open the windows, huh? Here's something for you. He hands me a plastic bag. It contains ice cream, cans of juice, and some snacks, and even cans of beer. Irie, you are a godsend. Obviously, this isn't for the girls. Obviously. I feel like he's being a little careless. No, it's fine. They wouldn't notice beer. Probably. But I am grateful. Unless if it's cans of beer. Was it cans of beer? Yeah, cans. Yeah, it's fine. So, how is everything? I heard a noise from the wiretapping shack earlier, and there was a phone call that rang for a long time. I'm sure they found out the girls missed school today and called to check. Has anyone asked you to come check on Rika? Yes. Takano told me to go check because they missed school and they haven't come to the clinic. I knew it. Do you think she's suspicious about the girl's absence? No. I think it has something to do with Tomitake starting his investigation. Even if it doesn't, this may give him a chance to find out something. Either way, something has already started, right? Yep, more than likely. I don't know if our enemies are Takano and the Mountain Hounds, or someone else. Either way, our enemy has started to take action. I can't help but think the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. The first 2 years were just coincidences. But starting the third year, I think Takano became intrigued by it, and expected something to happen on the night of Watanagashi. Watanagashi is the day after tomorrow. It's a perfect time for them to do something, and if the 5th year she aims for Rika. Takano's a scary woman. What Rika said about Takano, I think it's all true. I found out just today, but she was adopted by Dr. Takano, the one who discovered the Hinamizawa syndrome. The same last name, I see. To her, continuing the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome was like a promise to her beloved grandfather. But the research project will be terminated. That's blasphemy against her grandfather. That's exactly what Rika said, right? Yes. Also, Takano said something else. She used a smile of a simile of a dying patient in a coma to describe the research that is to end in 3 years. She says family members have the right to turn off the switch of the light support system. Thank God Irie noticed that. I was gonna say, if he's too dense to notice that, he's a fucking idiot and needs to go away. If it's a research project, that's being terminated anyway. Takano Miya, who considers herself a family member of the late Dr. Takano, should be the one to terminate it. Yes, I think that's what she meant. We are gathering the circumstantial evidence we need. Takano is, in fact, our enemy. Irie was still suspicious yesterday, but now he believes what Rika said is true. We need Tomitake to find some proof that shows Takano is planning something. Then to restrain all the people involved, a suppression unit will be called in. Takano has the Mountain Hounds, a special unit working for her. Is it possible to suppress them? Yes. I don't know anything about them, but there is a unit called the Watchdogs. They're supposed to be a battle unit deployed in case of a true emergency. The Mountain Hounds are more like an intelligence unit, so this unit will be far stronger than them. If it is a unit to deal with an emergency of a secret institution, it must be very powerful. So are you saying that gaining the support of these watchdogs is our winning condition? I think so. But the thing is that an emergency manual approves the destroying of the village in order to retain secrets. So even if the watchdog comes, would they do the same thing and destroy the village so they can destroy all the evidence? No, they wouldn't. If the enemy's intent is to activate the emergency manual, that doesn't make sense. If this conspiracy has its roots in a conflict of factions, the Irie institution's clients would want to settle things peacefully. They would attack the enemy, and before the villagers could figure out what's going on, they'd wrap up. I know because I've done some of these dangerous jobs myself. They will run through the village like the wind and complete their mission. A unit capable of doing that, the Mountain Hounds must be amazingly powerful. We must have to wait until we hear from Tomitake. Yes, this will be a game of endurance. But once things happen, they'll happen fast. It'll all switch over suddenly and it'll be a painful battle. It's reassuring to us that you're in the enemy's midst, but at the same time you are in a very vulnerable position. Please don't let your guard down. The moment we decided to be Rika's allies, we became their enemies. Yes. The phone at this house is already wiretapped, so Irie has to come over to communicate with me. But this doesn't work in an emergency. The best way to use a telephone. So I already have a memo prepared. There's a method of talking on a phone that's under observation. This is something I came up with from my experience of being in abnormal situations. What is this? The way to call me in case of an emergency. Please make sure the enemy doesn't get a hold of it. If you are in danger, swallow it. Swallow it. The phone is being wiretapped, so how can you make a call? If you pick up the phone, even if you don't say anything, they might get suspicious. I think they'll be able to tell the difference between a fucking child and you. We can communicate without picking up the phone. There's a little trick to it, but we can communicate the most important thing. And we are the only one who can do it. You are the only one who can do it since you can sense the enemy's movement first. Oh, okay. Then how do I do it? It's in the memo. Let me explain briefly. We use the ringtone of the phone. When you make a call, you rarely let the phone ring over a minute. Oh, so the amount of rings is what he's going to do. Like 1 ring means something, 2 rings means this, 3 rings means that, or whatever. We use that to communicate. If the phone rings for a minute, that means it's dangerous, leave. If the phone rings for a minute and a half, it means it's an emergency, head to the Sonozaki residence. Okay, same thing. So not necessarily a couple rings, but however the long you time it. Okay, that's actually really smart. The difference of the 30 seconds holds a message. Please look at the memo for other messages. But please memorize these 2, okay? My life depends on it. A message to let me know my life is in danger is the shorter call. If it's too short, I'll get confused with the regular phone calls. That's why to signal me, he is supposed to hang up the phone within 3 seconds first, then place an emergency call. That's interesting. The reason why I use the difference of 30 seconds is to make sure there's no misunderstanding. Yeah, it's really hard to hold something for 30 seconds and they're like, oh shit, I forgot. The tones the caller hears and the rings the receiver hears are a little different. I don't want that difference to change a message. That's why I added a 30-second difference. Oh, okay. So that's why you can't do the couple rings. Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. And it could be cut off like mid-ring or whatever. A short ring first and 1 minute ring means run. A minute and a half means head to where Rika is. Okay, I got it. It's a little troublesome, but this is just an emergency. Please remember. Okay, I got it. I'll take care of the communications. Also, one more thing I want you to remember. This is not a good code, but please don't forget. For this one, there is no need for one short ring. You need to let the phone ring for over 3 minutes. It's probably the best to place the call and leave it. What does that mean? An emergency with the contact. Impossible to communicate. That means if I'm in danger, right? So dial in and throw the phone down, basically. Don't press the receiver. Yes. In case of an emergency, call this house and leave the phone off the hook and hide somewhere safe. But it's very hard to anticipate your own danger. You can't underestimate it. You may not even get a chance to make the phone call. If you sense something odd, that's an emergency. Knowing the seriousness of the conspiracy, they won't hesitate to kill us. Please be very careful. I understand. But if that happens, what are you going to do? It depends on the situation, but I'll leave this house. If you're in danger, then Rika is in danger too. I'll head to the Sonozaki residence and join Rika. But this is the worst case scenario. I'm not sure if it'll actually happen, so don't be nervous. Please relax, okay? Don't do this for nothing. But be careful. Be very careful, right? That's right. Irie nods deeply. It's almost time. Something is about to begin. God, this is fucking tense. I can feel it coming.